let's see. Here we go on page Tafresh Sadi Bet. And let's see what he says. He says, one more try. One more second. Okay, he says, Rebo or Yoker, Sham. Shabir kan the Indian misyashvim talia bibir Indian talian. So we have to, what does that mean? So we had some answers. The deficha bepirish the talian, the heilish osius yudke vav teluyan beremis. So teluyan means they're hanging on a hint, I guess. Of the look of the havin mamish, and only there's a hint of them. There's no real appearance of them, which would be the havaya just actually there. Is parshed lashon misyashvim. So we're concerned about, well, let's just look at the sentence again one time. It says, Kad is gale lezeira misyashvim be elun asfam. So the letters we're talking about are Yud, K, and Vav. And then over here in the Or Yoker, he's saying that in Erich Hanging there's only a hint to them, a hint that they're coming downwards. So it's a mamish a yisparish loshem misyashvim. So let's get to that. That we find in Zer Anpin misyashvim the osios mamish. So they appear. I think that's what he means. He says you could see them there. V'leficha b'pirish Italian hainu han hagas hakeser b'sod yud ke vav. The way that keser works is through the concept of these three letters. Besod Yud K Vav Teluyin Verofafos. So look at this word Rofafos. It means weak. Apparently, they are very, very insubstantial, right? Almost non-existent. Merachok, and from a distance they're able to reach. Bibechinas dinim. When it says also that concept of them coming down is that they get squeezed to a certain extent. That light, the light was the light of, as we see, was the light of nothing, or very little to anything. He says, as it goes down, it gets more condensed. That's the dinim. Yispar shloshim misyashvim shemizgala b'zer anpin. That's what he wants to say. Etzem han hagas hakeser mikarav. So more or less like the way that keser works is now you see it in Zer Anpin in its working condition. And then when you see them, then you see that you could put together, I think, the name Yudke Vovke, which represents Rachamim. Rachamim because, it came from Erich Hanging. Ha'or Yakar, he said, Bedillah, he says, Elun Asvan Shehim Sod Han Hagas, the Hanhago, the secret of how things work, or the origin of, I don't know what he means by Hanhago, what it actually means. He says that they move right, left, center like that. That's the flow of the light. Shehim Sod Hanhaga, the Hainish Shlosha Roshim El Yonim, which is represented by the three upper Roshim. Alamala, Chachma, and then he uses the word tavuna v'das. I don't know why he used tavuna here and das. So they're manifest in Zer Anpin. He calls this the working, or the, I had a better way of saying it a second ago, how it is that right, left, center, origin, they're looking at the origin of that. Kad iska is galim the zeira, so when it's the hainu, shehem mishtalshlim Erich Hanging, the Zer Anpin, misyashvim. There they find a place where they can be revealed. So it's not right to say that it's the letters themselves, Elu Bekeser, and it's possible the Hainu that it would say like this, Kad Talia Talian, when they're hanging down. He said, the low Havkin Osius Yaakov, that in that place of that Talia Talian, which represent, he said, the hint that there is obviously there's an origin to it and a manifestation of it in Zer Anpin. Having Osius Yud Ke Vav Mamish Bekeser, he says they're not there. The low Havkin Mamish Bekeser. But Yosef knows, so what fits together better here, he said the Halki Perusha Kad Tali. B'chiyos ha-keser b'bechinas elu ha'osius Yud, K, and Vav is saying that, again, once again, Yud, K, and Vav is right, left, center. Meirin b'sfira merachok. That's what they mean by say they shine from the inside, and they shine to Heindel Tali Ke'inyan V'choyu Chayecha Teluyim. So he says that they're all dependent. So he looks like we're tenant. Meneged down below, he said Talian Gam Hanhaga Zu Shehem Osis Yud K Vav. So also we see that this pattern of the Yud, the K, and the Vav, Ela Einan Misyashvos. They don't settle in. Ela Rafufos, but they're very, very, very weak. V'teluyim atachtonim merachok, and they hang down into the lower world, which is their anpin, from a distance. There's a separation between them. But the matas of this same kind of, he calls it a din here. He says it also comes down below. This contraction, this constriction of the light, which makes it more visible. Anam kam iska decha or ha-keser be'etzem mizgala b'nispashet u'meir b'sod hishtalshlos ha-hanhaga ha-niskaras l'zeira. So it goes downwards in some way, the anpin, the anpin, he says. Einim teluyas b'zer anpin, they're not really hanging down from zer anpin. Ela misyashvim elin asfon lahanhig. But let me just read this phrase again. He says, Einam teluyim b'zer anpin, they're not doing the same thing. This teluyim means there by a remez. Elam b'syashvim elin asvon lahanheg, but actually they settle there, and now you see them in their working form, again, which I think means right, left, center, the way that the form of the flow of the light is going to come. Bamar od v'iskri bahon, so, or further we say, and it's called over there, they're called over there, mifnei she'ha-keser mistalik, because the keser leaves, v'chadin hoven na'asa, and din therefore is made. Now I'm not sure what that phrase means. Mifnei she'ha-keser mistalik, because what we're saying here is that, I mean, it's not visible that you could see it. V'chadin hoven na'asa, and there you have a real constriction there, which is the din. Nikra, but in that place over there where this happens, that place where it happens, v'iskri b'chom mifnei she'ha-keser mistalik, v'chadin hova na'asech v'nikra b'zer anpen elokim. So that's when zer anpen is called elokim. As a result of the lashon din, it's a contraction of the light of the Ein Sof, v'kiyotzech b'shemus hamoros hadin, and so it has other names which show you that there's a din going on here. So that's zer anpen, but when he says this a little bit out of sequence here for me, but kasher ha-keser mizgala, because here we see the keser is actually mizgala in zer anpen. Zer anpen becomes the shem yud ke vav ke, the hainu rachamim, that is a mixture of two. I think that something slightly missing, that he kind of wanted to say that I think that zer anpen is a vok, and as a vok it's really constricted. However, when the lights of the yud ke vav are revealed in zer anpen, he becomes yud ke vav ke, the hainu rachamim. Vorhan haga meir bo b'zer anpen ze etzli iker. That means to me like just the main idea. So let me see what else we have here. There is something really interesting coming up. I don't know if we have time for it, so probably. So he says, Bir ha'hadras melech kan rei la'el. He says, rei od b'ha'aros kan. And there is a ha'ara here, so I'm going to go take a look at it. Let me see. Okay, and it says like this. We get a little bit more focus here. V'hosi v'hadras melech. Down here it says Naman Ches over here in the right column on the lower part. He says Levayer Sham v'zel l'shona v'kad iskule b'zer anpin misyashve ma'osios v'nikra behem yud kevav. Hey Achrona Shehi Nukva, Lo Nizgalis Adayim is still not revealed. Afal Gab the Talia, even so that we say that it all depends on Atika, which is Ericon, because Moshe Kosev at Rab Badaf Yeresh Yadalad Amad Aleph, he says Bishar Mamari Rashbi, he says Adkan. V'rei Bishar Mamari Rashbi Sham V'zel Shono. Zagam Hashem Kulam B'Minchu Yudin Kazeh. So let's take the whole name. It has 4 yuds in it. Tale Be'etika K'de'isa B'dikunim. So all this concept, he says the name Yud-Ke Vav-Ke, really all comes from Atika. V'yesh B'Yud-Ke Vav, those 3 letters, which are Yaakov, Gimel Yudin. There are 3 Yudin. Now here he says like this, V'hine Hayud Rishona, Roma's the Chochma. So he says Chochma is the Yud part of the Yud-Ke Vav. Ki Hayud Shnia, Roma's the Bina. V'Hayud Shlishis, Roma's the Das. HaMekabel B'Shtei Osius Yud-K, etc. Amnam Hayud, I don't know why he made an etc. there. Amnam Hayud HaRevius, which represents the Nukva, Lo Nizgal Radaim Afal Pi the Talia Bay, even though that it is attached in some way. Batika, so it also is a part of Batika. He said the Hainod B'Yud Revi'is, that's the 4th Yud of the Avaya of the Milui of the Ratika Hanal Adkan. So a little bit more depth in there. Let me just get a little bit more down here. And it says like this. He says, is what? Kihine bi'arnu tehila kihateshes spheres hamikorios the eriganpen erasure the lo isya, that's again with that. V'hem eser spheres mikorios v'shrashin the kol the and they're rooted in all, I guess, in all of Atzilus. I guess it's Panimi to Atzilus, or the Panim is part of Atzilus. Well, Inyan Mitzias spheres Malchus, but the Inyan of the sphere of Malchus is what? Lo Nizgal Radayim Atach, but it's not now, still not revealed Adkan Ein Sham. V'yesh the sign kan idrizuta, so we'll go to there. V'zel Shono, v'b'chai chut mechad b'nukva de padashka talia. Hey, so in the nose, he said, the chutma, the nukva, of the openings, he says also, Welsh nukva, the badashka of the nose, talia, hey, there's a hey in there. The kaimach of a hey achra de latata, and what does the hey do at the nose level of Erich Hanging? It has the whatever light, or what energy it has, let's say energy, comes into Zer Anpin in order to bring life force there, Adkan. If you don't have it up above, you don't have it down below. The Ratzon Aloma, the Os, Hey, Achrona, the Nukva, Italian, Benekev, Smolly really depends on the left nostril, the Chutman, the Erich Hanging, the Rei Bahadras Melech, the Avos Hashem, V'yain the Rekach, Sham, Ein Sham. So all of those things are over there too. Where'd I go? Okay, I'm on number Dalet. Now this is interesting to me. Let's see what he says. The Yochai has been saying some things that I think are really, really good. So he explains the beer, the Beor Choser. So let's go back to his original kind of thinking. Let me see. I haven't got this where it could be seen. There we go. So again, he says, the Beor Choser, the Netza Behod, the Atik Yomim is Galim Shemos Havaya, the Yud Gimel Kivarte, the Yud Gimel Nimim, the Yud Gimel Tikuni Dikna Ein Sham. So over there he had said that this is where the light comes from. He said from these different places in the head of Erich Hanging, in the Kesser of Erich Hanging, the Zechad Mevorah V'kan Od, the Oros Elu Nimshachin the Mata Mizgala the Zer Anpin. Vaz Misyashiv Zer Anpin HaOsius the Shemus Savaya the Hivarti, the Nimin, the Tikuni Dikna Anal. Now he's bringing back in the Tikuni Dikna. He's going to talk about it a little bit, help me out a little bit. V'zel the Shanu Sham, Kad Iskali the Zer Anpin should call Shemikol Hamakomo, so when it reveals itself now, Shehem Yud Gimel, and once again he wants to say what is revealing itself there in Zer Anpin. They are the flow of light, which he wants to say is also in the concept of three, which is Yud, right, left, center also, but with the kolel, Shehem Yud Gimel Chivarti, the Yud Gimel Nimin, the Yud Gimel Tikundi Dekna. So that's what we're talking about. This is where they're coming out from, like that. The Himshacha Sa'aras the Zer Anpin. From there, there's a Hamshacha that goes to Zer Anpin, Gamafur, B'diver Rabbein Mazel, Be'etz Chaim Sham. Number Lamed Tes is something I think we want to get into a little bit. And let's go up to the top over here. So he's in this Yashvin Bay, now settle into that place. So it means, we saw previously that it could mean Gilui, the Megala there. Bezer Anpin, Elun Asvin, Shal Shem Savaya, the Hivarti, Venimin, Vitikuni Dikna. So he wants to say, I'm trying to understand that the Panemius of what comes into Zer Anpin is coming from these three different kinds of origins. Well, which he said, which is the Gugalta, the Avir, and the Chochmas Timoah. Each of those things, he had said in another place that they represent three different kinds of avayas. But at any rate, they manifest themselves. We can't see them. They're so transparent, so non-real, non-physical, until they get to Zer Anpin. Ki bo b'Zer Anpin hu shorisha osius. There is where you see the root, and I would say manifest of these letters. Canal. He said, "Be'inim mispashtim asvon lebaser." So then there's something else, that the letters also flow down the back of the head. Lebasav is kalado b'Zer Anpin, and as they go that way, they get incorporated in Zer Anpin. Ve'iskri b'chom b'sod shemosav hakadoshim ana ad gan. Now, let me bring this over here and look down at this little print down here in number Lamed Tes. It has a little arichos, which I'd like to do. He says, Reba Eitz Chaim, he says, Sheniz Bayer Inin Ham Shachas Yud Gimel Chivarte, once again, Yud Gimel Nimim Lezer Anpin. So he mentions two here, how this in fact goes down into Zer Anpin. V'zel Deshana B'toch Devarav, V'hinera Elo Dalek Chivarta. So there are four different white spaces. Shebetzad Ach, that we're talking about the ones, the Yudke Vavke, that is in the back of the head of Erich Anpin. Yordin Derech Sham, they go down the back of Erich Anpin, Im Shachim Im Yud Gimel Nimim, and they go along as they are flowing. He's talking about the white flow, the white from the flowing from the head. He says, the Nimshachim together with the Yud Gimel Nimin, this Ari with 13 nimin of bundles of hair, shehem nimshachim gam came derek achrech rosha, which also go down the back. So you have these two forms coming down the back. The nimshach the resha de Zer Anpin umeir bo, and they shine into Zer Anpin. V'henkel v'lon, we can see that later on. He said v'da yosan atesha hivarta the acherim shemitzad upon him that are on the face side. Now let's talk about the others. We said that the bundles of hair, along with the white in between the hairs, is going down on the back of Erich Anpin and striking the head of Zer Anpin. Upon him, so there's also though there's a set of 13 that are going down the front. Actually, I thought there was two of them went down the front, but here he says that both the Hivarti and the Nimim also go down the back. V'achirim v'shemitzad upon him the Erich Anpin hem nimshachim v'yordim gam came derek upon him ad reisha de Zer Anpin, and they also fall down that way, and they go down until they reach the face of the Zer Anpin. V'sham ischadram bedikna de Zer Anpin, and then these lights, that's the Yudke Vavke, he says spelled out with a kolel, is number 13. There, v'oz, the asim lo tesha tikuni dikna. And when they get there, they make the 9 tikunim of the dikna of Zer Anpin. Gam osam madala kivarta the resha the Erich Anpin. But when the the chivarti, he calls it, the Resha de Erich Anpin flows around the back, Derek Ach, ad Resha de Zer Anpin, Oz Nigbra ben Asib is Zer Anpin, Yud Gimel Tikundi Dikna ad Kan Ein Sham. So I had seen some things about this in another place, and wondering if you're going to talk about that, and here it is, that over in a different place, it said something to the effect of that when that light from Erich Anpin strikes the back from these hairs, strikes the back of the head, it forces a lot of shefa into Zer Anpin, which has to do with his tefillin. That's what I saw. He's not talking about that over here, not saying that here, but I saw that someone else. Let's do one more. He said, "For the Eden Amshachas Yud Gimel Tikuni Dikna de Erich Anpin, the Zer Anpin." Let's talk about this. We're talking about now. This is a question that I had way back when. He says that you also have a concept of the 13 Tikuni Dikna de Erich Anpin that are flowing down the sides of his face. Reba Eitz Chaim, he says of L'Chalon Sham. What does he say? B'zel D'Shana B'toch Devarav. Kavar Yadate She'ein B'Zer Anpin Rak Tesha Tikuni Dikna. Zer Anpin only has 9 Tikunim of his Dikna. But now shining into him and reaching him, I guess, are these 13 Tikunim of the Dikna of Erich Anpin. Oz Nikra B'Shmam. Then it's called by by their name. What name? Shall Yud Gimel Tikuni Dikna de Erich Anpin. So now that they're called, they're going to be called by them. What does it mean, called by them? Ad Kan Ein Sham. So in other words, they're going to build this up into a 13. V'rei od l'holon sham be'etz chaim. Look over there. V'zel l'shana b'toch devarav. He says that's what it says. V'afilu k'sha'anach ha'maskirin yud gimel tikuni dikna v'zer. Even when we mention that. Eno ela shenichlala ha'aras yud gimel tikuni dikna de Erich Anpin. It only happens, he says, when you see that Zer Anpin is a 13. As a reverse, shenichlala ha'aras yud gimel tikuni dikna de Erich Anpin. That's how it becomes a 13. Bateshas with the 9 that are already existing in Zer Anpin. V'yesh bechem yud gimel ha'aros. There are 13 different radiances that come out to that. Akha Yud Gimel Tikunim Enum Elatesha Davad Ad Kan. They only really come out to be 9. Let's see, where are we here? Okay, so let me give me a second here, and we'll button this up, and we'll finish it out. The next time we'll be into a new Inyan, if we get through it. This is Baruch Fleischman, and I'm sorry, I'm getting confused.